and I'm ready to share it with any delegates who will be present there. But what we really need is we need the discussion of the three options for resolution. The first option is the 2015 statement must be withdrawn. It's not in harmony with our fundamental beliefs. That's ideal. The second one is actually to remove the health emphasis from the 22nd fundamental belief. So if the health emphasis remains as a fundamental belief, you can't have science. So it is an option to actually take it out of the fundamental belief. And the General Conference session is the only place that can do that. Or the third option is to add science as a basis to the 22nd fundamental, which that would be an interesting discussion to have in the General Conference session. How many of the delegates there are really stand and say that church believes that the Bible is sufficient on the area of health and therefore we need science? That would be an interesting discussion. I know it will be interesting because I told Ted Wilson when I met him face to face, I asked him this question. If you really believe that our health emphasis is based on peer-reviewed science, why don't you put it in the 26th fundamental? And the sheer horror on his face told me that he that goes session. So that is in the agenda. In the second point, I'm trying to recall whether it's a lost cause.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's why I'm mentioning these conferences. When I started, everyone said, look, you're going to achieve nothing. We've got conferences. So when you do nothing, you achieve nothing. When you do something, you're not guaranteed success, I'll admit that. But I can tell you, especially here in my local context, I have been summoned to many meetings with administration leadership where the outlook is rather grim when I go into the meeting. However, when I present the fundamentals-based argument, they cannot, they cannot even discipline me because I'm not doing anything subversive. I'm a church member and I'm exercising an upholding of the fundamental beliefs through a church mechanism, the business. Now they try and say, "Oh, it's not the place for it." Then I always come and say, "Read the church manual that you can disfellowship a fellow man through a business." You want to tell me that a business meeting is not a mature enough setting to handle a discussion about our fundamental beliefs? And with that, immediately all resistance falls apart, and they cannot even censure or rebuke. And I've had many such engagements. And then I leave the room without any constraints applied. Now, that to me is evidence that the Lord is working something. He is working a miracle in this business meeting campaign. So, yes, naysayers will say, but I can tell you, I have seen miracles accompany this, miracles of confirmation to me. The Lord wants someone to stand on this issue. And that someone, I believe, is you. Members. We cannot sit around and wait for pastors to do this. The pastors had their opportunity since the lockdowns in the pandemic. They have had their opportunity. They have not demonstrated the leadership. It's up to the people to stand and be that change. Don't sit around and wait for a leader. You must be that. So that was the second point. The third one is I have everything you need. All you need a 3-slide PowerPoint if you business administrator will allow you to do the presentation. Otherwise, I've got the one picture I've just read to you. That's all. So that's presentation-wise covered. And vote to reject the statement, but obviously voting and not informing anyone is going to be of no consequence. output. There must be a product. That product is the letter to inform administration of the business meeting date, the business meeting result, and then the result being we reject the statement and request for it to be withdrawn. We have those letters available. Now there are various levels. Many of the churches take the freedom, they take our letter, they add to it, they reject all official statements, which is a valid position to take because I believe the official statements, since they are in the church manual, they are not in harmony with the church manual. They have created a second law. So rejecting all official statements is not a strategy. It is a valid output. However, for some churches, if we start, we go after all statements, we may not get any churches. We fail to get churches that we could have gotten if we only focused on the 2015 statements. So rejecting all of them is an optimal outcome. Rejecting all the immunization, the reaffirmation statement, and the climate change statements. There are about 3 or 4 climate change statements, which I believe is water in the basement for religion.
Amen.
Given where we are in the prophetic calendar, churches reject those as well while they're rejecting statements. But at minimum, the absolute minimum is you must reject 2015 immunization. Reason that one is the minimum because that one is the easiest to convert. You just have to read this one pager that I've prepared, and you can deliver that one. And then once you've picked that literature, swamp, which is science, and you're burning a lot of energy and taking the oxygen out of the room. Leave that. As I've told you, I've met with many church administrators and they cannot fault the fundamentals based argument. So just stick to that and you'll sail above all challenge. And if you have a congregation that vote the right way, overwhelmingly, the congregation voting.
Okay. Um, I've watched several presentations by Hank on YouTube, and I can tell you this man loves his church. He's not anti-church. He loves his faith. He loves the church. He's concerned about what he sees as things that need to change within our church, as we've talked about here with some of our other presenters. And I got some good news. This coming November, Hank will be in this very room addressing us in person. He's flying in from Australia in November, and he will be presenting here. And I'm telling you, he's done several wonderful presentations on issues that we are all concerned about as faithful Adventist Christians in our.
Serve God first and man where I am able to without violation of my conscience secondary. And that is Jesus. Jesus would definitely evangelize and seek to save souls, but he would also censure and rebuke the leadership of his day if they were wayward. And that is the same standard, the same example that we should be following today. We should be following the example of Christ. We should be seeking to save souls, but we should not allow the leadership to escape the warranted and merited rebukes that they deserve. And in this case, it's a severe betrayal of our fundamental beliefs. We need to care enough about the people in the church to speak up about this issue. So I beg of you, it's not anti-church, it's not anti-science, it's not anti-vax. It's building our fundamental beliefs and ensuring that we more fully model the example.
Amen. I want you to know, this may have changed since we last talked, Hank, but I believe his family's camping somewhere in the outback in Australia. If I, is it true that he drove several hours to get home to Wi-Fi? Is that still true?
Well, I backed up the whole family because it was going to rain. So we all back home.
So everybody came home.
Everybody came, all asleep in their bed. And look, I'm grateful I got this. I felt a bit sick on the way back to the camp. I was fatigued and had no sleep, but look, I'm here and I really appreciate this opportunity to address this crowd, especially while we can still add before we head into the German conference session. So I thank you all.
So this is his conviction. He came and drove several hours so he could get good Wi-Fi to talk with you folks here today. In the middle of the night for him, like you said, his family was asleep. I thought he was going to leave his family in the outback and then go back and join them after he did the call with us, but it's a little easier for him, I guess. And it's Sabbath, I believe, where you're at right now, of course, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's 4 o'clock in the morning.
So we wish you a happy Sabbath, brother. Thank you for wishing a happy Sabbath, brothers and sisters. Happy Sabbath.
Yes.
God bless you all. Thank you.